Mark Skaar on 103.7 The Fox. This is the Skaar Kaard, and I'm proud to welcome in Chasen Hampton, the vocalist of Close Enemies. Chasen, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great, man. Thanks so much for having me, brother.
Let's start with you introducing yourselves to us. You've got quite a background in the entertainment industry all the way back to youth, yeah?
I did, man. I'm actually from Oklahoma City. I fell in love with performing as a young kid and would do like competitions and all that fun stuff. And as you can imagine, there just wasn't a lot going on in Oklahoma. And back pre-internet and YouTube and all the fun stuff that exists today, I don't know if you remember this, but they would put on the air like, come to the mall for like local talent show, or like come meet the NBC casting directors, or come meet, Disney's coming through casting for a new show. And they would do like these big cattle calls in malls. And my dad had caught wind of one of those, and I ended up driving down to Dallas when I was, about 11 years old, and auditioned for what was then a movie about the Mickey Mouse Club, the original Mickey Mouse Club. And that was during the writer's strike of '89. That movie actually got canceled, but at the same time, they were building MGM Studios, which is now Disney Hollywood Studios in Florida, and they wanted a live, on-location TV show being filmed on that location, so they started the Mickey Mouse Club, and I ended up getting picked to be a member of that. And it just kind of took off from there, man. It was an incredible experience to grow up with a lot of those kids, a lot of them who a lot of people know today as being some of the biggest stars of our generation, and in fact, in the pop world and some other things, and Ryan Gosling and Justin and Brittany and Christina. And we all grew up together and kind of learned off each other and motivated each other and supported each other. And that's just really how it started rolling, man. And after that, I moved out to California, and I did a lot of acting and stuff, and whatever you could get yourself into. I started a rock band out there for a while, and just kind of played hit and miss with when you're in the big pond now. It was kind of a different experience. Well, I did the show for a long time. I did the show, I did 4 seasons, and then Hollywood Records got started, and 5 of us left the show to become a pop group called The Party. And I don't know if a lot of people remember that, but our biggest single was a remake of Dawkins' In My Dreams, of all things, which was really fun, and that took off. But I was kind of the rock and roll guy in that pop band. I was kind of always doing the kind of rock songs, and I think my first song I recorded at Steve Vai's house, which, I was all wide-eyed and like, oh, this is crazy. And, it's just all these crazy experiences I built off of and lived and learned off of, and it kind of made me who I am. And so I did a lot of acting after the show, and like X-Files and Buffy and a lot of those 90s shows. I just kind of got worn out on it after a while, and started teaching, which became a real purpose for me, teaching music. And I started working at a rock school out there, and kind of became like the MD. And we had a lot of success. A lot of those kids now are out touring and playing Lollapalooza, Coachella, and winning Billboard Music Awards. It's pretty awesome, kind of the gift that keeps on giving. But it really became a purpose for me, teaching. When I went to California at first, I was thinking, well, I'm going to get in touch with so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm going to find out where Nikki Sixx lives, or, I'm going to try to get in touch with these people. And you find that you can never really find those doors to knock on. When you're out there, it's just such a crazy place. And as soon as I started teaching, and it became not about me, and it kind of became more of a selfless thing of me kind of giving my experiences over, all of a sudden all those doors started opening, and I ended up teaching Nikki Sixx's children and a lot of the kids from the Elton John band, and it was just nuts. All of a sudden I started mingling with people who I always wanted to get in touch with, but I was more of a teacher. And I kind of continue to do that and be a mentor for kids. I love it. I still do it. I help run an organization called Always in the Club, 501c3 that we run, and we still mentor kids and then do a lot of educational destinations for kids and try to provide opportunities for people who don't have them. And that again got me into this band. I was actually about a year ago, I left California and moved out to Massachusetts to marry my kind of high school sweetheart, which was a great thing. But as you can imagine, there's not a lot out here in Massachusetts. But I was in a studio, and they asked me to produce this children's song for this little 9-year-old girl who was in Les Mis on Broadway. And I went down there, and I was like, okay. And I did the song, helped her get through it. Came home, and my wife was like, hey, how much money did you make? And I was like, I felt bad, and I didn't want to charge her, maybe it'll come back around. And sure enough, that studio owner had known Tom from Aerosmith, obviously, and asked asked me if he could pass my number over to some guys. Never told me who it was. I said, do you mind if I pass your number over, man? I really enjoyed you helping me get through this session, and, you would really get along. You're a great guy and a great singer, et cetera. And I'm like, please pass my number. I'd love some extra work. That'd be amazing. And sure enough, I got a phone call, and Trace Foster, who I'm sure you already know, who's kind of the tech of the stars. He's worked with anybody and everybody you can imagine, from Ron Wood and AC/DC, and just goes on and on and on. And he was working for Tom as well. He called up and said, man, someone passed me your number. I heard a song. Was this you singing? And I was like, yeah, that's all me. He's like, okay. Well, he's like, we got a band we're working on, and kind of like to see if maybe try out some things and see how it works out. And I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. So that's really kind of how it started. It got me to this point. It was just wild. And from there, it's just taken up. I'm thinking, well, I'm almost 50 years old. Now I'm 50. I turned 50 just the other day, but you just never know, man. You can't quit. When you got a dream, and you got to keep going, and this is proof in the pudding right here that anything can happen. You never know what's around the next corner. And now I'm a kid in a candy store.
That's a great story, man. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course, brother.
Chasen Hampton from Close Enemies is my guest as we speak today. Friday, January 17th, you've released your very first single, Sound of a Train. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we are extremely excited. It's taken about a year to get it to this point. I started working with these guys a year ago. I actually was working with them and sent him some songs and sent him a demo of Train, and that's ended up being what the final mix was. The demo was just so on it. We didn't really want to redo it. And it was very interesting. My dad actually I said, guys, I got to take a break. I was trying to get in this band. And I sent him some songs, and I said, guys, I got to take a break. My dad's real ill all of a sudden out of nowhere. And I went to be by his side before he passed. And I was sitting with him in the hospital, and I played him Train. And my dad, he's more of a John Denver kind of guy. And so I was like, I don't know if he's going to like this. John, we'll see. And I played it for him, and he threw his hands up and called all the nurses in. And I was like, well, let's not get too excited. I'm still waiting to see what happens. And if this tells you what kind of guys these band members are, they texted me about 2 hours before my dad passed, and they said, hey, buddy, we just want you to know we're here for you, pal. And in all caps, your new band, is here for whatever you need. And so I just looked at the phone. I looked at my dad, and I said, Dad, I'm in the band. And we had the greatest time. It means so much to me. They gave me that moment with my dad, and he got to know that. And he literally said, Chase, I'm going to have the best seats in the house. And I passed about 2 hours later. It was incredible, man. And so now when I play this song, when I'm doing this song live, it's deep for me. You can put whatever story you want into the song, whether you're coming out of addiction or a bad relationship, or like I've said, like my dad was, here in that train calling him home. It's a special song for us.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I appreciate that, man, but, none of us get out of here alive, brother.
My understanding, Chasen, is that there's an album in the can, 9 songs. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. We probably even have twice that, but, yeah, we have 9 pretty much ready to go.
Is the thought right now to trickle some of those out and then a full album down the road this year?
Yes, sir, man. That's kind of the way of the industry now.
Mm-hmm.
If you kind of give it to them all at once, they're like, okay, what's next? And then you're like, well, wait, it just took us a year to get here. We're doing one at a time, and then eventually we'll put out probably a vinyl or an EP with a good collection of them so everybody can have that. But, yeah, that's kind of the plan as of now.
And you're signed with Virgin. How cool is that?
Incredible. I mean, what a history those guys have, man. I mean, yeah, it just blows my mind. We met Denny, who's with TLG Rock, and he's distributed by Virgin, and they have an incredible team. Couldn't be in a better place.
So let's elaborate a little bit more. Of course, you've got a legendary rhythm section, and they play so well together, I'm sure, Tom Hamilton and Tony Brock. Let's start there because they're the backbone of the band. Tell me about working with those guys.
They love each other. We call them the chain gang, man. They lock in, and it's solid as a rock. And to me, the best thing ever with playing with these guys is having these moments of clarity where I look up and see them smiling and just see like the most authentic smile come out of these guys. Looking up and seeing Tom looking at you and just giving you the biggest smile, knowing he's having the time of his life. I mean, let's be honest. This guy could have hung it up a long time ago, man. He could have said, yeah, well, time for me just to go relax, enjoy life. And the truth is, this is how he enjoys life. They love playing music. They love it. They live it and breathe it. and you can hear it in the playing, man. I think, and that's kind of been the review and the talk we've heard back is just the camaraderie and the fun that we look like we're having on stage, and that is 100% genuine.
What's the rest of 2025 looking like for you folks? I know Trace is going to go out with AC/DC for one thing.
Well, yeah, that's the cool thing. Is not, these guys haven't quit their jobs, And I'm sure if Steven has a miraculous recovery or, something can happen, I mean, that would be amazing for those guys to do more shows and do special projects. We don't know anything yet with that, but Trace is going back with AC/DC when he can. Cheryl has some dates. So we kind of work around everybody's gig schedule. We got a shared calendar, and we're trying to just maximize every date we can, more towards the end of the year or in between AC/DC dates when we can. So we just signed with a new booking agent, so I'm excited to see what comes out of this.
Maybe hop on as a support gig somewhere or something too.
Yeah. And as you can imagine, these guys have friends. They're friends with every band that you could imagine. Like the first show we did in Nashville, I'm upstairs and I'm pacing back and forth, going, and don't forget the lyrics, going over my stuff and warming up. And up comes Tom from Cheap Trick, and just people are just coming in from right and left, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is like a reunion for these guys. And they're like, yeah, you should come out on the road with us. So anything like that would be so fun, especially for these guys because they have so many friends in the industry. That are great people, and it would be fun to tour with people that are like family like that. So I'm really curious who we end up jumping on with, but that would be awesome. Some old school bands.
Chasen, if people want to know more about Close Enemies, how can they best do that?
You can reach us at closeenemiestheband.com. We're Close Enemies Official on Instagram, and I think just Close Enemies on Facebook. But yeah, please join the journey, and I'd love to see where this goes, and we'd love to have you on board.
Me too. I'm already there. So I'm on the train and looking forward to seeing where this goes. And I'm sure we'll have you back on the show in short order. So appreciate your time and all the best going forward, man.
Mark, I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the support. And please keep in touch, my man.
Chasen Hampton, lead vocals, Close Enemies. For Chasen Hampton, I'm Mark Skaar. This is a Skaar Kaard on the new classic rock that rocks, 103.7 The Fox.